The GEEK Files, 2025, December 14th, still in Burnaby. I've been thinking about it. The mechanic on the Caribou Dale may not have been at in Calgary at Ken Bork, because I can remember once the Caribou got there, we loaded up and flipped to Midway Lake emergency airstrip on the Dempster. It seems that's when I first met him, because I can remember he was he liked his grog. Let's just put it that way. Because I can remember him saying, "You're waiting for Dean, the captain, to bring him a bottle." So anyway, there we were on the Dempster. So why were we at Emergency Lake, emergency strip on the Dempster? The Old Crow Reserve had run out of food, and it was during breakup, so the ferry wasn't in across the Mackenzie at Fort McPherson, and the Porcupine River was still full of ice. So the only way to get supplies into Old Crow was by air. The emergency airstrip was short. It wasn't made for big aircraft. So in came the Caribou, because this thing could stop on a dime and give you back 9 cents worth of change. But it's the high Arctic, and it's flat and it's windy. That's one of my biggest memories of being above 60 on the Barrens. How much wind was there, and constant. It kept the mosquitoes away. We were up on the Dempster. Basically runs mostly on old glacier eskers, so it's up on high gravel ridges. And it's the first time I was in 24 hours of sunlight, which was not a hard thing to get used to. I've been in day shift before. What you do is you put tinfoil on the windows and, and then poke holes on your bedroom windows, and then poke holes with a pin in the tinfoil so it looks like stars. And that works. But you lose track of time because spring is often cloudy up there. So it's just this constant low light level all the time. And it's really hard to figure out what time of day it is. The wind turned out could be a crosswind across the strip. A lot of the time, I remember one of the landings. It was windy when they took off, and taking off isn't a big problem. When they landed, Caribou's are tricycle gear. They landed so cocked that the nose wheel and the right landing gear tracked a single line. So when they landed, there wasn't 3 tire tracks. There was only 2, and I can't remember. I think Dean that was his landing. I remember him getting off the airplane white, going, "Yeah, we're not flying again." The other thing about the Barrens is there's nothing to give you scale at all. So, we're up near the Porcupine River. You could hear it because there's nothing to block the sound either, and it carries quite far in the wind. So I decided, I'm bored, so I'll go for a walk. So I'm walking down to the river, and all of a sudden I realized that I've been walking for a long time, and I'm not really getting any closer to this sound. I turned around. We're living in Atco's on wheels at that time. So there was a cook shack and a bunk shack. And I turn around, and I'm about 4 miles away from the Atco. And then I realized this is spring on the Barrens. There isn't a lot of difference between me and a caribou as far as a polar bear is considered, and they're on the hunt. So I quickly just turned around and walked back, and became more aware that on the barrens, I'm not the top of the food chain anymore.